I originally watched this about 1 month after my divorce. The good news is it doesn't sting as much 6 years later, and it's still a great movie. I just rewatched Marriage Story, and I want to talk about it. Marriage Story opens with these shining confessions of love written in letter form by our two leads, Charlie and Nicole Barber. They sound like a couple for the ages until we learn that this is an exercise in a therapist's office, and they won't even read what they've written to each other. Nicole feels overpowered by Charlie's presence and goes generally unnoticed by him. Also, he cheated on her. So Nicole heads out to LA with their son Henry to shoot a pilot. She's an actress. Charlie stays in New York because he has a theater company and is a director. Nicole files for divorce in LA, and then things get real sticky because Charlie is traveling back and forth to meet with lawyers and to find a place to stay in LA. Both characters think things will go amicably, but then that takes a huge turn when lawyers get involved. Shared history and little moments that might have been cherished by the couple become evidence against one another. It's an intimate look at the death rattles of a marriage and how the person who knows you the most can also hurt you the worst. Scarlett Johansson pulls through with my favorite performance of hers. Well, now that I've said hers, maybe it's her. Or from the same year as this film, 2019, Jojo Rabbit. Heck of a year for Scarlett that year, but this is an impeccable performance. She is warm and working through suppressed frustration for the first time in front of our eyes. Her first meeting with her divorce lawyer is a monologue masterclass. Adam Driver plays Charlie, and I was blown away by his performance, even more on a rewatch. He goes from clueless to calculated brilliantly when he gets his own hotshot lawyer involved. And he's a lot of things in this movie. He's smart and stubborn. He thinks he's just and altruistic, which he is to some around him, but not necessarily to his wife, Nicole. It seems like it's his way or the highway. And ultimately, he's really hurt by what's happening and seems to be trying for an agreeable outcome for all. And the scene where he releases everything he's been burying deep during the apartment argument is incredible. Ray Liotta plays Charlie's lawyer. He's a ruthless, money-hungry titan of the legal field in sharp suits who will stop at nothing to win for his client, even when it crosses a line or bends the truth or misdirects. He moves through intimidation and being blunt. He is a force. Laura Dern plays Nicole's lawyer, and she's a ruthless, money-hungry titan of the legal field in chic and showy outfits who will stop at nothing to win for her client, even when it crosses a line, bends the truth, or misdirects. She moves through a protection mentality and sharp wit. Alan Alda plays the lawyer that Charlie dropped when he found out that Nicole's lawyer was out for blood. He was compassionate and humane and concerned about both parties. In an ideal world, he would be the best option, but you can tell he's not getting a ton of business, and Charlie moves on because the system has become so toxic. Noah Baumbach wrote and directed this piece of art, so I wonder if he sees a bit of himself in Charlie. Is Nicole some pieces of Greta Gerwig? She does start directing at the end of the film, so who knows? But past projects of Baumbach's of note as a director include Frances Ha and The Squid and the Whale, which I just watched earlier this year. And then, of course, a little co-writing credit on Barbie. And this new movie on Netflix I haven't seen yet, Jay Kelly. Sound off in the comments if it's worth watching. This script is so polished, it's like we're secretly observing these moments and arguments. If you've been in a relationship, you can hear how authentic it is. The build-up in an argument right to the point where you cross the line you know you shouldn't have. Or the passive-aggressive tone that might come out when you're trying to sound civil at a child pickup or drop-off. It's so impactful because it's so true to life. There are several long takes in this film, notably Nicole in her lawyer's office for the first visit and the argument in Charlie's new apartment. You are really living in these moments. I read that they shot as much as they could, doing full takes at a time, and it took nearly 50 takes in the apartment scene. I can't imagine exerting myself like that so many times, but the final product is so raw. The geographic element of this is shown well too. All the talk of LA and the space When Charlie is in LA, he's drowning in space. He's alone and isolated, whether it's family closing doors on him, him stuck in an apartment on his own, or confined to a car because it's LA. It isn't walkable like New York. In New York, he has community, but also crowds that he can hide and disappear into. It really feels like a safety net for him. To Nicole, LA is sun and family and opportunity. It's a new start. And New York to her is dingy and suffocating. To me, the frame that encapsulates Marriage Story is this shot of Charlie reading to Henry while Nicole is silently crying single tears next to him. It's this bittersweet moment where this is the last time they can share a moment like this and be this version of normal between them. Earlier that day, Nicole served Charlie with official divorce papers. The pain of losing this connection and time together is immediate and intense. Throughout the rest of the film, we are going to watch this family unit implode and eventually work itself into a new shape that is cordial and even at times loving, but never intimate and close like this again. And when Charlie finishes reading Stuart Little, Nicole comments about not remembering the end, and Charlie says Stuart overreacted. The book ends with hope. Things will be different, but okay. And Charlie definitely overreacts moments later in the film. It's a nice mirror of what we're going to see. The theme that hit me the hardest was how the unsaid thing can grow in your mind and go from an internal force to one that impacts the world outside and around you. Nicole felt unheard and unseen, and it becomes clear that she realized that from the start of the relationship. And she never really expressed what was bothering her, what she was feeling until it was too late. And that made Charlie feel blindsided, even if he was wrong for his part of it. For 10 years, these issues were building internally, but by the time they tried to work on it in therapy, it was too late. And that brings up the unsaid things again. Not sharing how you feel can leave the other person utterly in the dark. They both wrote such beautiful declarations of love for each other, but pride or fear of what the other person did or didn't write stopped them from sharing. That in turn gave them both the feeling that the other isn't willing to fight for the relationship, when they likely would have if they heard those things. Especially when you see Charlie break down reading Nicole's letter after Henry finds it at the end of the movie. Say what you need to say and be clear with those you love. The other theme is just how litigious our society has become and how that amps everything up. You might have these kitchen table discussions on how benevolent you'll both be during a divorce, but if you get the wrong lawyers involved, things can get ugly quickly. They care about winning and essentially escalate conflict rather than seeking to resolve it. The things that cause wounds in a relationship just become a point of strategy to tear the other person down. Also, there's just generally this idea of love versus compatibility. I think this one really resonated with me. You can still have great love for someone and it just not work. People grow and change and want new things. It's so great when people can grow together and move through life like that, but sometimes it's not possible. And you reach your next stage of who you feel you should be, and it has to end with that person. The actor-director relationship symbolizes how this couple was moving through life in Nicole's eyes. Charlie always had the final say. He provided the notes. Her suggestions did not need to be considered because he was plotting the course. She felt like she was playing this role of mother and wife, and in the end, it wasn't fulfilling enough on its own. There are two moments where Charlie looks at the photos in Nicole's mother's house. At first, it's photos of Charlie and Nicole as a couple, and then the whole family when Henry arrives, and just Henry. Later, after the divorce and some time, all those pictures are just grandkids in the house. Charlie has been erased. We curate our lives to focus on what's bringing us joy in the moment and to absolutely steer clear of things we don't want to be reminded of. Nicole's hair changes throughout the movie, and she mentioned early on she didn't even know what her taste was because she moved into Charlie's apartment and followed his lead. He comments on her hair at one point saying he prefers it longer, but her hair journey is her finding her identity. It's the same with the costumes. She does her own thing at Halloween and lets Henry do his. They are no longer tied down to these expectations. Themes and symbolism are subjective, and people grab onto different ones that resonate with them. So if there's anything I missed, let us know in the comments. The pivotal scene is the apartment argument. It's a no-holds-bar spat, and all the cards are laid out. It's raw and real. Nicole did seem to take a dark turn shortly after moving to LA, meeting with a lot of lawyers so Charlie couldn't find one easily, and setting Henry up in school, establishing a home. She knows that. She doesn't have much empathy until the moment where Charlie breaks down, sobbing after he lashes out. Even then, she kind of seems to be going through the motions at that point. Too much is lost. This scene is the first time they're alone together after the two big shot lawyers have fought dirty in their names. They are finally honest with each other, and there's no score to distract. There's minimal camera cuts. This argument is so heated, and it ends with Charlie saying he wishes Nicole would die, and then her in a stunned silence. It's not resolved. It hangs there. The process moves us forward, but this moment will always have happened. You can't take those words back, and this is the final nail in the coffin of this relationship. Nicole can seem like the absolute villain in this. We don't really see the past conversations where Charlie was promising this or that, so it doesn't feel as real. The audience has to be able to take Nicole's word for it, which can be hard when she's meeting with the lawyers and moving and doing these things. So this film really seems to side with Charlie to some point. Maybe he wasn't all that bad, but we really don't get a clear sight line into what drove Nicole to this point, is my point. This is also just a heavy film. You have to want to watch something that is dialogue rich, that will be an emotional roller coaster. So it's been 6 years since I last watched it. Maybe I'll revisit it again in 6 or 10 years. This is an intimate look at the actual end of a relationship. We don't see the slow decay of it. We see the rapid wrap-up of 10 years of love and life. It's almost a business transaction at this point. We ache for the good times that we really didn't get to see, and we worry about how this will look moving forward with Henry and the bi-coastal aspect of it all as we're watching. It's a great watch with writing that makes you care about both characters, and the best thing is that no one is truly the villain. The closure is not clean, and how could it be after working to build a life that you thought would last forever? That wraps it up for Marriage Story. Thank you all so much for hanging out. If you're so inclined, please check out the Patreon. I currently have it set up one price for everything you see here as we're building the community and talking movies, but I appreciate you just hanging out. And if you want to do that again, hit subscribe and we'll see you in the next one.